Good morning, Foxes. How the devil are you today? Well, how's your weekend been so far? Well, I'm in a right fucking mood. Well, so you know how my weekend's been. Well, you know what day it is. It's Sunday. It's 10 a.m. It's time for the famous Foxes Aftermath show, run by the fans for the fans. And you know what? Your opinion matters more than most this week. So come on, get them comments in. It's kickoff time. Come on, you Foxes. Let's get going.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, morning all. How the devil are you? Like Mark Watson says, where do we start? Where do we start? As you can see, I'm in that much of a mood. I'm not even wearing my Leicester top today. It takes a lot for me not to wear it. That's how bad I feel so far. There's been so many people commenting hello. There's been too many already. Carl Coles has literally said, yes, this dickhead has to go. I'm sick of this shit. Rogers out. Wayne Dunnicliffe has said the same thing. Michael Smith rushed. The comments are coming. If I miss the comments, then sorry, because there's that many. Ruined again by that clown. Vichai would be turning in his grave. Yes, he would be. Some Leicester City Facebook user. Sorry, just click on the link. That's all you've got to do. Football club today has decided to part companies with. What did you really thought we'll dare to do some? I'm not sure that's true, whoever that is. I've got the news. I've got Sky Sports news on ready just in case, but I can't say it. And on that note, we'll bring the voice of reason in. Morning, Tom. How are you?
Morning, mate. Morning.
Controversial me, reason you, pal. How? Come on then, hit me with it.
Oh, where do you start? We can take one positive from the game, Jamie.
What's that?
Everson was in goal and not Danny Ward, because Danny Ward had been in goal. It would have been a bit probably like the 5-1 defeat what we had there a few years ago. I thought Daniel Everson was man of the match, but anyway, let's start on a positive. Daniel Everson was absolutely class, and if it wasn't for Daniel Everson, the scoreline would have been completely different yesterday.
I'll put this out to everyone. Does everyone agree with me and Tom? I think me and Tom both agreed Daniel Everson was man of the match. Anybody else disagree with us? Could anybody else have been man of the match? Because like Tom says, I do not think if Ward was in goal, I think it would have been 4-5 quite easily. I mean, Tom, his comments after Brendan Rodgers' comments afterwards was, I think we deserve something out of the game. 31 shots to 3 attempts. They had 31. We had 3 attempts. Anybody would have thought it was Man City we were playing. We were playing Palace. They haven't won since New Year's Eve. They haven't won at home since October. It was Palace. It wasn't fucking Man City, Tom.
You can add to those stats as well. They've not had a shot on target in their last 3 games. Not had a shot on target.
Another stat. I can put another stat to that, Tom. We've only had 3 shots on target in the last 3 away games.
Exactly, mate. And this is the scariest thing about it. And you still got a manager coming out and turning around and said we didn't deserve to lose that football match. In fairness to Brendan, let's get one thing right. The first half, we were a shower of shit. We were all over the place, and we should have been 4, 5, 6-0 down. We could easily be if Everton hadn't been in goal. We were all over the place. We didn't look like causing them any problems. We had one little bit of look down the left-hand side when Victor Crinson clipped onto the back post and hits the crossbar. Bar that, the second half, there is a difference. The first 15 minutes, we were all over Palace because we changed the shape. We brought a winger. Well, I didn't bring a winger. We brought on a person that wanted to get forward. Tete just looks lost now for some reason. Pushing Cassani forward, giving Ricardo that freedom to drift into the central midfielder and pick the area, pick the ball up, make little runs between the lines, what Palace didn't seem to be able to cope with. And then we get the goal and you think, right, you're on top here. You're flying. Right. This is how we've got to go for the main of the game. And I literally tweeted it after the Leicester City tweet, putting, please do not, do not defend, just attack. within 3 minutes, a stupid challenge by Daka pulling a man's shirt on the edge of the area. Saw a few of them yesterday. What really bummed me, we were trying to pull shirts. Just let them go, let the man go.
Was trying to exchange shirts through the game with about 4 or 5 different players. You don't tug at a shirt, do you? I know he took one for the team on the halfway line. I'll let him off for that one.
One taking it in the right positions, but Daka's is silly. He's got men in front of him. There's no need to touch him. Let him take the shot. As I said beforehand, if he pings it in the top corner, he pings it in the top corner. It's a great goal. But we give a goal away. Oh, look, it's unlucky. There's no one you can criticise. It hits the crossbar. 9 times out of 10, that flies back off the crossbar and out and away. The hard bit of luck at the moment, it flies off the crossbar, hits Danielson backside and goes in the net. Nothing you can do about it. But from that moment on, the game completely swung again, all the way. And Palace's lift and momentum, you saw it. 15 minutes we had in that game yesterday. 15 minutes of football out of 90. We were the team dominant.
Not even quite sure it was 15 minutes.
But we were
even when we scored that goal, we looked, like you said, we scored, and then it only took them 3.5 minutes. I think it was 3 minutes, 48 seconds, I think they said on the TV, before they actually scored. And then they just looked like the winning team. Palace looked like the winning team. We just had nothing about us. I mean, it's a bit like Patrick said here, the board are out of their depth, letting us nosedive into the Championship. To be honest, Tom, I think the whole club is a bit deluded from top to bottom at the moment. Look at the league. The mentality of the club is something different. It's a joke. We're not too good to go down. There's no team in that league is not too good to go down. And I haven't seen any improvement whatsoever in the last 12 months. And I think it's coming from the very top. And I hate to blame the board. I really do, because we've done so well. But if Vichai, God rest his soul, had been here, it would have been a totally different kettle of fish. Haven't won a game in 7 games. When Pure was here, we lost 6. Ranieri, I think we lost 6. Gone, fired the gun, gone, bye. Now, it's totally different. He was out drinking. I know you're allowed to go out to drink, fair enough. You're allowed to go out and party. But it doesn't look like he gives a stuff about the club. It really doesn't.
It's a
again, fans.
It's all right, mate. It's a tricky situation. I look back to a few videos from the beginning of the season, actually what we produced and stuff, because I want to get a few comments that I've said at the beginning of the season, just like in my own head, confirm that I'd said these things before I came on this morning. And one of the things I said was after the Southampton game was how easy we crumbled. And that was a theme of the story for me, how easily, bar the Tottenham game and bar the Villa game, where we actually bounced back and looked like there was a bit of fight and a bit of hunger there. The games that we've conceded after we've scored first and lost games or drew games, the Brentford game stands out at home, the Southampton game, we crumbled so easy. And after that Southampton game, I made a point to say this squad is not good enough to stay in the Premier League. I said it then. We're now 10 games to go, and we're starting to see the fruits that I was possibly quite right, but this squad wasn't good enough. And say people will say, well, it is good enough. Doesn't matter how many good players you have in a squad, if they're not playing as a team and there's no fight, hunger, or desire, determination to try and win a football match or have the confidence to win a football match, you're not going to stay in the Premier League. For me, we have 11, 12, maybe 13 players that are good enough for the Premiership. The rest of them are not anywhere close to being good to the Premiership. They might be in the top half of the Championship. I think they'll be all right in the Championship. Daka would have a field day in the Championship with all the spacing behind and his pace. But in the Premier League, as we've seen with Vardy, teams have worked out that if you sit deep, you don't give Vardy time to get in behind. Now he's got nothing. And that's not slating Vardy. He has to adapt his game now. He's not really had a chance this season to do much. Yeah. Daka has had enough chances in the league this season. He's got to adapt his game. He can't just think, I'm all about pace, getting him behind and scoring goals in the Premier League. You've got to adapt to be a world-class striker or a great striker. The great strikers in the Premier League adapt to their games to be able to score goals. And for me, Daka can't adapt his game he's got pace. At halftime yesterday, I was crying for the changes. I was crying to see Nacho on that pitch to hold the ball up more. I was crying for Ndidi to come off the pitch from giving the ball away and get Mendy on. What has Mendy done deserve to be dropped? He hadn't done anything.
I really don't understand what he has done to be deserved to drop, because Ndidi, and there's been a lot of comments on about Ndidi, but what I just want, before we just go on about the actual, I just want to go what Aggie's just said here. As you know, Jamie, I know he goes to every game, home and away, and he hasn't seen any sides worse than us this season. I'm just going to extend that, Tom. We've been in that Premiership for 10 years now. This must be one of the worst Leicester sides at the minute that we've seen in this 10-year block, not the one in 93, 94, in these 10 seasons since we came back up. I haven't seen a worse side. Even when Ranieri had the second season, we weren't as bad as this. I don't think we were as bad as this. Shaky took over. We are worse than what we've been at any time this 10 years. I don't know whether other people agree on that, but that's my point of view, that this is probably the worst Premiership team we've had in the last 10 years.
I think the stats don't lie, mate. And again, people bring out Puel and stuff. I mean, I don't hate Puel as much as I hate Brendan Rodgers. I hate Brendan Rodgers more. And this bloke was an FA Cup, but his legacy is gone. He's tarnished any legacy he would have had from that FA Cup win. He won't go down as one of the great managers now. He'll go down one of the most stubborn managers, because he hasn't got the balls as a manager, or great managers do, when things aren't going right, to try and change things. You know, for me, this will go down at the moment. It's probably one of the worst teams in the Premier League for Leicester in the last 10 years, because the difference between most teams in the Premier League in the last 10 years, they've all had fight. There's always been a team spirit. There's always been a hunger and desire and attitude that when you go on that pitch, when you pull that shirt on, whatever happens, you give it 110%, and we will try to get a point, or we'll try and win. I haven't seen it this season, and I haven't. And Brendan has to show that as well, because Brendan has been as bad on the sidelines. The Arsenal game, hands in pockets. Pipes even called him out on it. Pipes had a rant after that game, if I remember rightly, and I think I put that on Twitter. And it was the passion, what we are missing. You're missing that leader with some passion, desire. I'm not expecting Brendan Rodgers to fly him down the touchline like Conte and stuff, but show something more than the clap and just standing there and writing a few no's, because that's not doing anyone any favours. You know, yesterday when that goal went in against that one to make it 1-1, he should have been throwing his arms around. He should have been rallying the troops to go, come on now, it doesn't matter. Things happen. It's a lucky goal. It's an unlucky goal. They've scored. Right, heads on now, focus. But again, it's just stand there. Oh, where do I, yeah, exactly. You've got to have a manager who's shown some kind of passion from the touchline. Look at Rodgers, look at Nigel Pearson, look at Shaky, look at Puel when things weren't going right. I remember the goal against Wolves when it went to 4-3. He was devastated that goal that went in against Wolves, to a point he was throwing his arms in the air. He was gutted. He shows more emotion in that 30 seconds that goal goes in, Puel did, than...
I'm just writing some notes, Tom, just to remind me what you said. Just to remind me,
yeah. Your shopping list.
Yeah, that's about it. What I need for the bar.
It comes from the top, and it also has to come from Susan Wheeland. It also has to come from Deadwood Rudkin, as his new nickname is now for me. He's been at the club too long. He's probably he's so dead even the woodworm don't want to bite him at the moment, be honest with you. You know, it comes from the top. There has to be something showing you where we're going as a football club and where the passion is. And I mean, I don't see it from anywhere in the football club. You said it earlier. This isn't just Rodgers and the team. This is coming from the top to the bottom of the club. The club is rotten at the moment for some reason. There's something is not right, big time. And it's not, to me, it doesn't matter about financial. It doesn't matter how much money you chuck at a football club. We've proven that by winning the league the way we did. It's about a spirit. It's about a band of brothers, what they did by winning the title and the Champions League run after. Because as much as we were poor that season, we got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League by having a spirit behind desire and hunger that doesn't matter who we're playing, we're going to give you a game on this Saturday or Wednesday night like we did against Seville away and keep ourselves in that tie. And at the King Power, we're going to absolutely go at you. Like the Union boys did, let the dog slip a wall. That's really, let's get at them. I just don't see it, mate. And this is, for me, like I tweeted yesterday, in all my times of following Leicester and seeing the club relegated from the Premier League, I won't use League One and stuff, but just from the Premier League, seeing teams getting relegated, the Harry Bassett team with Mickey Adams at Filbert Street on that day at Man United when we went down.
It feels more like Mike Bassett at the minute.
We were still trying then. We were 1-0 down. The whole stand, I remember the game, everyone stood up in Filbert Street singing, "We love you, Leicester, we do." And Leicester till I die. The whole standard was all at one. We were going down. We were still singing it. You know, the team against Mickey Adams, it still fighted at all the games to try and stay in the Premier League. And we went down by 3 points, I think it was, the games, and you counted back that season. This, the Nigel Pearson's team, there was a fight in every game. We weren't getting hammered. We weren't losing games by not trying. We were trying to get something from each game. We were just unlucky in some of their games. But then we went on that run of 7 out of the last 11 games winning. We've got 10 now, And you're telling me at the moment, I'll ask everyone here, do you feel at those last 10, we're going to win 7 out of 10 games like that great escape team? I don't see it, because I don't see a Cambiasso in the middle of the park grabbing people by the scruffs of the necks and picking them up when they go 1-0 down and going, it doesn't matter, we're going to fight back.
You're saying about we need to win. I think we need to win 4 to get us on, because we're on 25 points, so that'll get us on 37, and that's about right. But if you look at it at the minute, though, Tom, we've played 28 games, we've won 7. That's 1 in every 4. And if we keep that up, that means we're only going to win 2 more games, and that's only 6 more points, which puts us on 31. I do not see how that is going to help us. I really don't. And I put this tweet out yesterday: sack him, put Stahl and Vardy. We're going down. It looks like we're going down. I'd rather have Stahl and Vardy in charge with a bit of fight, shows a bit of passion, and at least try to stay up.
So I've just put that on. I want to go to that question.
So if Top changed it now, we would get to stay. Save us? Who would we get?
But I just want to bring up this point, because this is the point that every diehard Leicester fan, we all want to say. And it's the easiest question to chuck at a Leicester fan, saying, sack him. Well, if we get rid of him, who'd you bring in? If we get rid of him, we're still going down. So what is the point of having a manager who's taken us to the Championship? Why not even, I'd say, don't care what Jamie said, put Stahl in charge. He's probably got more passion I've seen on the touchline most games. Him and Vardy would not let the boys go out there and give a performance like that. I can tell you that now. For all this talk that Rodgers gives it, I've had to go with the lads in the dressing room. Well, I don't see a reaction from it, Brendan, where I'm taking, Stahl and Vardy to the end of the season would not let us slip away without a fight. And at the moment, that is the biggest thing, a fight that you're going to try and stay in the league for those fans who have backed you every single week, go home and away and sell the away and out.
It's like I keep saying about, you get a new manager bounce. When a new manager comes in, you get a new manager bounce. Everton, Bournemouth, Southampton, Leeds, Wolves, Palace, all got new managers. And they've all had an improvement. We've kept the same Irishman completely, and nothing has changed. Not one thing. I was going to say something else then, but I thought I better not, because I can't edit it because it's live. We haven't changed. We have not changed. We've stuck to the same. He doesn't change his plan at all. It's plan A all the time. There is no plan B. Even though he talked about putting Harry Suter up front in training,
which didn't do it yesterday, did he though?
No, I just don't understand, Tom, what is going on. I mean, some of the stats, like I like my stats. 1 point from 6 games, 8 points from the 13 games since the World Cup. We're bottom of the table of the form guide since the World Cup. No wins from 7 games. How can he keep his job, Tom? How can he? We need to make a change.
Puel got sacked for less, mate. That's the biggest thing. What worries me. Puel got sacked for less.
And I stuck up for Puel, and I got absolutely lambasted for it. And since November of 21, when we lost to Chelsea, I've wanted Rodgers out since that. And there's a video on Leicester Fan TV to prove that it was that when we lost 3-0 at home, and I wanted Rodgers out that game. And I've been lambasted ever since that day as well for wanting him out. It's coming true now. It's coming true how bad we have slipped down now, Tom.
The thing about it for me is I look at it and go to what his comments have been the last few weeks. Well, we're coming to a block of games that, really we will kick on from, and the block of games was Palace, Brentford, Villa, Bournemouth. Well, let's get one thing right. Villa have just smashed Chelsea 2-0 yesterday, comfortably. Smashed them. They did, Chelsea didn't lay a glove on them. Bournemouth team that have beaten Liverpool and Fulham in their last 2 games. They're both in the top half of the league. That is not going to be an easy game now. As much as they took a trouncing at Villa the other week, 3-0, 4-0, they've still beaten in their last 2 home games, Liverpool and Fulham. They keep winning their home games. As much as Rodgers says it is still in our hands, it isn't in our hands now, because they've got more points and we've played the same amount of games. So Brendan's talking bollocks as usual there. It's in our hands. No, it's not, because if Bournemouth come and do the deal on next Saturday and beat us, I think they then will go 5 points clear possibly of us in the race for the...
Something like that. I've tried to keep away from the table today, Tom.
So to say it's in our own hands, it's not in our own hands at all, Brendan, because we've lost that. So now we're in the bottom 3. The status of play yesterday, when you're saying we deserve to win the game, again, utter tosh, mate. You're talking absolute nonsense, Brendan, every single week now. And I feel sorry for Owen because he keeps getting it smashed on Twitter. Why don't you ask him this? Why don't you ask? In fairness to Owen, he asks quite good questions all the time to him. And he only can ask up to a point because he knows if he oversets the mark, all Brendan will do or the club will do, he go, you're not interviewing anymore. They're giving regs. They're told where they can go to, and if they come to a point the manager don't like it, look at Pearson with was it Ian Stringer? He didn't like it, so Pearson banned him from going to any conferences.
Simon Gimson's just said there was more life in a 75-year-old pensioner yesterday than Rodgers, which was true. There was more life. He's got a bit of excitement. I know Rodgers can be Roy Houghton can be
Roy Hodgson.
Roy Hodgson, sorry, I'm getting all confused now. Roy Hodgson could be a bit dour in his, but there was excitement on his face and that, and it's just Rodgers just stands there and gives it this little clap, writes in his little fucking book. What I don't understand, it's just so annoying. And to be honest, Tom, if it doesn't go today, I thought he would have gone last night. Well, I thought he would have gone every Saturday the last few Saturdays, apart from the international week, because that was a good result last week, wasn't it? When we didn't lose, we didn't win. We didn't concede. We didn't get no injuries, so that was good. If he doesn't go now, today, this weekend, I think he's here for the rest of the time. And like Aggie says, the atmosphere on Tuesday will be absolutely toxic, wasn't it?
But Tuesday night, if they go 1-0 up, and we know Villa are playing well at the moment and scoring goals early on, that's one thing that Emirates got built into their team. They go for a goal early, get that early goal. The moment in time, if they go up against us and smash us 1-2-0, I'm sitting behind the dugout on Tuesday night, so it'd be interesting to see how Brendan reacts to it.
Have you got some eggs so you can egg him?
Oh, mate. But it'll also be interesting if Top's there. His Top doesn't come over for that.
Well, if he's not hungover, he might be able to fly back as well. And you're saying about if Villa score first, we haven't had the best record when we've scored, when the opposition have scored worse. I think we've only won 2 games when the opposition have scored first, which was Villa and Spurs. But in matches where we've scored first, we have actually lost more games than we've won. We just can't keep hold of leads. And everyone keeps, Tom, I've had this last night as well, messaging me. Everyone keeps saying I'm negative. I'm not. I'm just being fucking honest. I'm not being negative.
The time for being negative is gone. There's a time where you think people do start being negative and it's a bit quick, but the time for that is all gone. Then how can you not be negative after that performance? And it isn't the first performance. This has been going on for like 18 months now. I think it's longer than that, Jamie. I go back to the game, what stands out to me, where we played Norwich at home and we drew 1-1. And I remember sitting there that game thinking, something doesn't seem right here, because that started.
We just won 8 on the bounce.
Mm-hmm. We won 8 on the bounce, and then we drew 1-1 with Norwich. And I remember he played Vardy and Nacho up front. Vardy then got Nacho went off after about 38 minutes because he had a bit of a bust up with the Norwich players for not kicking the ball back and going through and tried to score. And then Rodgers dragged him for it. And then ever since then, that is when for me everything just seemed to drop off. And that was the start of finishing the season 5th and 5th.
I think that was the same time when Arsenal interested in him as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think around the same time, Arsenal were interested in him, and we just won 8 on the bounce. And everyone, that was the same time Newcastle and Southampton results, the 5 and 9-0, wasn't it?
Yep.
It was absolutely David James Taylor. Yes, there probably will be. I think I'll put a few quid in the bank already this morning. That Tom's probably a few quid behind me, but yeah, I think I'll definitely put a few quid in that.
Well, we try not to, but at the moment, I think you can see the anger. We were talking before the international break in the group, and I think we were all saying that let's forget Rodgers. Let's now be positive. Let's get behind the team. We've got to try and drive this team, in the last 11 games, starting with Palace. The fans have got to play the part. But again, after yesterday's performance, what's that leave you to go to the ground with any hunger or fight to start with, when, as much as they'll say the fans have got to get behind the team you've got to give you something to fight for. And at the moment in time, I don't see any fight. I see more fight coming out of Kieran Jubil's Twitter page, mate, when you're having to go at Mark. You can, I don't care if the players see this. Doesn't bother me. Probably don't watch anything we do. But to have an individual come out and have a spat at a fan for having a comment or an opinion. Yeah, KDH is one of us, and this must be hurting him as much as he's hurting him at the moment. See the team playing so poorly and not performing. But you can't come out and have a pop at a fan for having an opinion. Same as Maddison. He looks all right tit now for coming out with that comment he made against Rob Tanner. If we play like this, we'll be fine. Matters. If we play like we are at the moment, we're going down. Let that sink into everyone. We are going down. West Ham have 2 games in hand on us starting today. If they beat Southampton, they go above us. I mean, we go to 19th in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That's not really going to be a great tweet you've ever done in your life, Matters, is it? When you come up to the end of the season and we got relegated.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Reedy. KDH is awful. If Tillemans were fit, I'd drop KDH at the moment because I don't see a player there with the confidence he's shot at the moment. He's a good player. I don't think he's a great player, and I don't think there's a chance he could be. But I don't see a player for me that I'd start week in, week out in the Premier League if you had a fit Tillemans at the moment.
I mean, even Maddison. I mean, he was useless yesterday. That kept him on, man. I thought that was going to give him a bit of impetus and a bit of like, oh yeah, I'm captain. Pull my chest up, pull my shoulders back, puff my chest out. None of that yesterday. None of that at all. It's just
one player who does fight every single time and gives 110 for me. Never shirks it. Dennis Pratt.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. Dennis Pratt in the middle of that part does not shirt a tackle. Gives 110. How many injuries does he get because he flies in and blocks things? That's the kind of player that we need playing at the moment. Someone who doesn't care about putting his body on the line.
I mean, I love a bit DP in the middle of the park, Tom. And I think, but he's just, I mean, unfortunately, yesterday he was a bit injured, but he had a bit of a bust up with Rodgers. He didn't want to be here. Mendy had a bit of a bust up with Rodgers. He didn't want to be here. Soyuncu had a bit of a bust up with Rodgers, and he can't get in. He can't get in the game. He cannot play in a. Surely you could play Soyuncu in a 3.
Well, look at the performance he did for his in international break for Turkey.
It was outstanding.
His performance for Turkey was an absolute amazing player. You could tell it was a different player, played for a different coach who believed in his ability. That says it all. Morning, Mark. By the way, Mark's the one who had a bit of a spat with KDH and still I'm waiting for a reply because I thought your reply was brilliant, Mark. By the way, you literally had the guts to reply to him what you were trying to make your points about, but KDH hasn't bothered to reply since then.
Well, I did message Madison. Well, not message. I tweeted Madison and KDH about coming on this morning, but as normal, no reply. A bit too big for the boots to wake up early Sunday morning. They probably had a busy weekend. Friday night, not with the wife. Saturday and.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this now. We know people from the club watch this. So if you are watching, and we know the club don't like to make statements and Tops don't like to come out with a statement and say what's happening. But I think I'll speak on behalf of most fans when I say this now. Fans want to know what your vision is for this football club. Fans want to know where the football club is going. Because at the moment in time, we're all sitting there in your comfy seats in the director's box on the match day. You're all moaning about SK. You're all having a pop at the Union boys who are trying to get an atmosphere going at the moment and staggering that by putting stewards in there and putting police with cameras on them, because that's really going to help the situation and really going to help that connection between the board and the fans by putting stewards around the singing section. And you're all not doing anything to give the fans any confidence, and you're not giving the fans any answers. The fans want answers. The fans want to know, where's all the money going? Why are we not signing any players to keep us in this league? Sell all the best players. What we know the club do, that's fine. The fans haven't got a problem with that. But you're not replacing with anything good enough to stay in the Premier League. The transfers, Jod Rudkin, you know the transfers. You're the one who's been behind all these transfers. Ryan Bertram, waste of money that's been. Vestergaard can't get near the team and then has a pop at the manager and then gets basically shoved out because, once again, Brendan Rodgers' ego is too big for himself and to be interrupted by anyone. Same with Kagler Soyuncu. We want to know as fans what is going on and why the manager, who has no faith in some of these players and chucks them under the bus, is still at the football club, because obviously he's either got a hold over one of you or got something on one of you that you can't sack him, or financially the club is in such a state that we have physically not got £10 million to sack a clown. Liverpool fans warned us about this. They warned us 2.5 years in, 3, it gets stale.
You think Southampton fans warned us about Puel, Liverpool fans warned us about Rodgers. It's
exactly.
Well,
my point. One more point. Whatever happens, I will follow this club next season. 24 years I've had my season ticket. I'm not going to give up on the club. I've seen the club. I went to that game at Forest away when the day after the club went into administration, fearing that this club would not be around in a year's time.
Yeah.
Thank you to Gary Lineker and all that who made that happen. I fear the same thing again because something doesn't fit right with me. And it's like saying we've cleared the debt. That's fine, clearing the debt, but then there's going to be more debt. Where there's debt, there's always another load of debt. That's why companies go under and football clubs go under, because they keep saying We've
It's like
cleared
Anna's just said
nothing.
about the communication. The communication used to be fantastic. You used to hear it, but at the minute, what's that saying? The silence coming from the club is deafening to us all. It really
That's my
is.
problem. Come out and explain it, because, and that's all we're asking as fans. Make a statement why you are backing the manager when no one else is now. I mean, well, I've still seen 5% have faith in this manager, or the 5% who go, who do you replace him with?
Yeah.
The club need to make a statement and say if Brendan is staying till the end of the season. If they've made that decision, come out and publicly back the manager like football clubs do. They all come out and say, we're backing Brendan Rodgers to keep us in the Premier League. Done and dusted then. We all know where we stand, because then we all can give up with this chance of Rodgers out. What I don't think makes any difference to the ball, because for some reason they don't want to listen to us anymore. You know, the Pure chant worked. We got rid of Pure. For some reason, it doesn't work with Brendan Rodgers, even though, like you say, we're in a mess.
Yeah, I know. It's to be honest, some of the fans think Brendan Rodgers is the best thing since sliced bread.
By the way, you don't get your toast looking like that at Jamie's breakfast.
No, that is actual bread. That's bread. There's no crack or anything. That is bread. How do you know you haven't been yet, Tom? It's about time you turned up for a breakfast.
Hopefully, Phil will book us put it on the Leicester Fan TV credit card. You know what I mean, Phil? The stress of this season, I think we all
Leicester
need.
Fan TV towers. You have to have a word with him. We'll have to get ready on that tomorrow.
Faulty towers.
Faulty towers. Right, very quickly, Tom. We've got the Tuesday game against Villa. We're not going to talk about Bournemouth just yet, but I know it's going to be difficult. Your prediction, I think you've already said it earlier on about how they're playing against Chelsea, how they played against Chelsea. I didn't see the game because I was in a right mood. It was the last thing I ever wanted to do, watch football last night, and even talk about it. What do you think?
Well, firstly, I had to take my wife out for a birthday meal last night, so that wasn't the best at times for me. I had to try and put a brave face. The word to me was, "Do not come out in a grump after taking me out for a meal, please." I was like, "Yes." So I had to put a brave face on it. I've got to be positive and hope that we can get something from the Villa. I mean, Ian Stringer tweeted what made me laugh, and I've retweeted this saying that it wasn't a must-win game yesterday. Well, when do the must-win games start, Ian? That's my question back to Ian Stringer, by the way.
You know something? If we've got a point,
the must-win games now.
Yeah, if we got a point, like we got a point against Brentford 2 weeks ago, and then a point against Palace a couple of years ago, I'd have been happy with that. But we're not in that position at the minute. A point is not good enough. I've always said, win your home games, a point away from home in your Premier League is fantastic. But at the minute, we're in a different position at the minute, aren't we, Tom? We need more than a point from games. But Tuesday, put you under pressure. There are lots of people are coming in with Villa. I haven't seen a Leicester score yet. For us, it's been a lot of...
Well, someone just put a comment there about, what is it, flip-flop, except Tom and Phil. I'm just trying to read it. Where's it gone?
Flip-flop
TV, except Tom and Phil 18 months ago I was trashed for calling Rodgers out. I mean, I stand by comments 18 months ago. I didn't want Rodgers to go because I felt he could turn the situation around. And I thought,
I've never flip-flopped from one to the other. I've been Rodgers out from the very beginning. So whoever that is,
18 months ago.
18
months ago, Jamie was his head. I'll back Jamie on that. Me, I was totally Rodgers in 18 months ago, and I'll still, even though when things weren't looking great, I was still thinking, well, he's won the FA Cup, he deserves to straighten round. And then even till the end of last season, I was still saying, give him pre-season, let him get his players in what he wants. Beginning of the season, obviously, he didn't get any players, and that's the big thing that started to my head was the trash talking to the players, and that's where I started to lose faith completely in Rodgers. And then I think it was the Brentford home game where he made one sub on the hottest day of the year, and Brentford made all 7 of their subs. That was my end of it all, really, because I've lost faith that a manager can't see what other managers are doing. I mean, my prediction, God, 2-1 Leicester. Let's be positive. Let's hope we can go and win. You know,
back the club, back the players. You don't have to back the manager. You just back the club and back the players. I'm hoping for a win. I really am hoping for a win. We need a win. I want to win, but I just can't see a win at the minute, Tom. Unfortunately, something drastically has got to happen. But I don't know, Tom. I don't know. So you're there on Tuesday, so make sure you take a few eggs in if you're allowed. And as you're standing right behind the dugout, or standing, you can't stand behind the dugout. As you're behind the dugout, make sure you've got a little placard
Rogers
saying Rogers out.
I'm tempted, mate. I've been thinking about it, and I think there'll be a few of them more. I think there'll be a few. Oh, we are going. Yes, mate. I'll come to that.
He's always thinking about his stomach, can he, Reedy? Always thinking about his stomach. Right then, Tom. Much appreciated for you to join in with us this morning. Oh, which cup was that? Was that the same one as mine this morning? You're green or... Oh, no. I'm a few years before you on my cup this morning. As I'm a little older, so I'm a few years before you on my cup. All right then, Tom.
Cheers,
we shall have to speak to you through the week, mate. Cheers, pal.
Cheers.
Right then, lads and lasses. Just one last thing before we go. I haven't had a real rant so far today, but I think I'm going to have... I've actually wrote something because I wanted to make sure I actually got it right when I said it. So before we go, this is me and me only. Nothing to do with Leicester Fan TV. This is me. Let me just... Hold on a minute. Let me just get it right. I'll read it. After another disappointing defeat, Brendan Rodgers has to be sacked. We had a mini resurgence, a mini revival before the World Cup, whatever you want to call it, but it covered over the cracks. But this man is so far out of his depth, he's drowning, with everyone looking on thinking, when are they going to get him out of it? Rodgers is not capable of managing this club anymore. He's lost the plot. It's insulting to the fans. It's embarrassing to the club's legacy that Vichai built up. You have to know when you make a mistake and it's gone on too long. Swallow that financial loss. Managers and players come and go. Fans stay because we are bought up and love the club and want the best for the club. And it's not what we want at the minute. And just remember, this is my view, nothing to do with Leicester Fan TV. For me, Rodgers has to go, and it has to go now. Ciao, ciao. Adios. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.